Hey friends, Amanda here, Bare Bones Living. Welcome back to my kitchen. And today what I'm going to be doing is taking soup bones from the half a cow that I just acquired. And I'm going to be turning these into homemade beef broth. And when I showed you guys that half of a cow, I thought that I had 2 bags of what they deemed soup bones and 2 bags of dog bones. But I was mistaken, and there was only 1 bag of soup bones, and the other 3 were what they considered dog bones. I still have not looked into that. I literally just made that video and decided to dive right in and make this because no time like the present, and we are now low on freezer space, so 1 less bag in the freezer was a definite need. So I'm taking what I know is soup bone and I'm turning it into beef broth. Very simple. It is a lengthy process, but it's not like hands-on or difficult or anything like that. So let me show you what I'm doing. So there's nothing fancy or difficult, like I said, about making these. I just took these bones. They are frozen. They are starting to thaw out just from driving from where they came from and going through them all, but for the most part they're frozen. And then I just chopped up some onions and carrots, and I'm going to roast these in the oven at 400 degrees for about an hour. But I am going to flip these bones halfway through and get a nice roast and some nice color on everything that is on this tray. Now that my bones have cooked for an hour, my vegetables have roasted, got all this nice flavor on them. I'm just going to dump everything that's in here into my crock pot. Try not to make a gigantic mess. To my roasted bones and roasted vegetables, I'm going to add back in the skins and the butt of the carrot to add to the flavoring. And then I'm going to add some vegetable scraps that I keep in my freezer. Celeries and more carrot skins and onion skins and whatever else I might have on hand at the moment. And then I'm going to cover it with water, cover all the ingredients with water. I put a splash of vinegar in to help draw out the nutrients in the bones. Cover it up and turn it on low. And my slow cooker only goes up to 20 hours, but I run this for usually 3 days. After your broth has been slow cooking for 2 to 3 days, stirring intermittently through that time, your house smelling amazing, then I turn off my slow cooker and allow this to cool off. And this has been off for like 6 hours and it's still smoking hot. But I'm just going to take out all the bits and bones and veggie scraps and as much as I can get with this spatula that has holes in it. This I think works the best for me to get this stuff out. I tried using like a sieve and I thought it was too clunky. but this plastic spatula is strong enough to hold up like a big beef bone. But it's good at siphoning out all the other stuff. So I just put them in a separate bowl. I give all the scraps to my girls, so they'll get a nice meal tomorrow. And then with whatever is left, I will pour this through a sieve into another bowl to catch all the little bits that I didn't get. Now I'm going to cover this with saran wrap and put this in the refrigerator overnight so that the fat can come to the surface and harden overnight, and I can scrape it off in the morning. So when you put it in the refrigerator overnight, the fat rises to the top and actually hardens, so it's very easy for you to get it off. So I'm just going to break it enough so that I can get in here. And I have a slotted spoon here, and I'm just going to remove the fat cap. I'm not going to throw it out. I'm actually going to save it for seasoning other food later, or cooking with, or whatever. I just don't want it in my broth. The little bits in there is fine. That's not too much or anything. And now your broth is ready to either be put in a jar in the refrigerator to use later, use in a recipe now, or can. And right now I'm going to actually use this in a recipe for tonight, and then I'm going to can the rest of this tomorrow. So now it's time to put this, to get this ready to can so I can put it up on my shelves and I'm not taking up space in my refrigerator anymore. So this sat, we got the fat cap off the top, and now I need to rewarm it. I'm going to bring it to a boil on my stove to rewarm it. I'm going to hot pack this, which means my product's going to be hot and my cans are going to be hot, or my jars are going to be hot. I'm going to can this in pint jars, and so I'm going to bring this to a boil. I'm going to fill my pint jars to 1 inch of headspace, and I'm going to pressure can them. For me, it's 11 pounds of pressure for 20 minutes for pints. So I processed 3 of the bags. I actually went back and I looked up the difference between the dog bones and the soup bones, and basically the soup bones were all the bones that had all the marrow in them, so like the long bones, like the femur and things like that. The other bones are more like ribs and things of that nature, which you can still use as a soup bone. They just won't be as nutrient dense, but those bones still had meat on them, and what I've always done in the past is just saved the bones from steaks, or whatever cut of meat had the bone on it from our pork chops or our steaks or our chickens or whatever meat we had. I would save those bones and I would make my broth out of those bones. So really, using those dog bones was actually better because, or what they call dog bones, is better because that was fresh beef that was just harvested a month prior, and it still had fresh meat on it. So I just went ahead and I made 3 of the bags. I still have 1 bag left, but I did do those soup bones first. And I did want to show you the difference of these two broths. So this is the broth from the soup bones. This is the broth from what they call dog bones. Now there is a marketable difference in the color because it was only those non-marrow bones that were in this batch. Had I looked at it all first, I could have split those marrow bones up between the other bags to kind of counteract or like disperse that nutrients from those marrow bones across all my batches, but I had already processed all those marrow bones in the first batch. Using those non-marrow bones is still better than what you're buying at the store. So I don't want anything go to waste, and I did process those dog bones and make broth out of them as well. Now it doesn't look like I have very much here, but that's because one entire bag went into a beef and barley soup that we made, a big portion of beef and barley soup that we're still eating off of. So this is what I got from only 2 of my bags. From the soup bones, the nutrient-dense, darker broth, I got 5 pints. And then from the other one, I got 2 quarts and 2 pints. And then I also used from this batch that I made the dog bones out of, I actually used that in another recipe too. So it's about the same, but I'm happy with what I got. I'm super excited to put this up on my shelves. I'm super proud of what I've made, and I would love for other people to make their own broths. Something is better than nothing. Like I said, I know exactly what went into this. Even when I'm still making broth and saving my bones from my meat and things like that and making broth out of those. Don't belittle that or anything of that nature. Own your food, own what you make and be proud of it, because I'm super proud to put this up on my shelves. I'm super proud to cook with this. I'm super proud of it all. And I want you to feel that way too. So I hope you guys like this one, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thank you guys for stopping by today and joining in on our journey here at Bare Bones Living. We'll catch you on the next one.